our story begins with Day, a man who clearly looked at a 25-foot deep concrete pit and thought, yes, this is the ideal place for a relaxing solo dip. While Day is busy enjoying his suspiciously lonely swim, his girlfriend Koi decides she wants to play a high-stakes game of hide and seek. Her plan? Jump into the pool to surprise him, because nothing says I love you like a 110-pound human projectile flying at your head while you're treading water. Unfortunately for Koi, her dog Lucky has more brain cells than the two humans combined. Lucky sees her prepping for this Olympic-level disaster and starts barking like he's trying to summon the ghost of common sense. Day hears the commotion and looks up, realizing his girlfriend is about to commit a very vertical mistake. He screams for her to stop, but Koi has already committed to the bit. She loses her balance, performs a mid-air headbutt against the diving board that would make a professional wrestler proud, and flops into the water like a sack of wet flour. Now, Day is in a bit of a pickle. Koi is unconscious and leaking blood into the water, a great vibe for a romantic afternoon. He hauls her onto an air mattress, which is the only thing in this pool that actually works. Seeing her head wound, he decides to get fancy with the first aid. He dives to the bottom, retrieves a silk scarf, because apparently they're swimming in a boutique, and wraps it around her head. Very chic, very useless. He starts screaming for help, and Lucky joins in from the sidelines. But here's the kicker. This pool hasn't seen a maintenance worker since the 90s. How did they get into this mess? Well, a few hours earlier, Day was napping in the pool like a human boy when someone, presumably a ghost, or a very disgruntled neighbour, decided to open the drain valve. By the time Lucky's barking woke Day up, half the water was gone. Now, any normal person would notice 12 feet of water vanishing beneath them, but Day is clearly a deep sleeper. He finally realizes the situation is unideal and tries to swim to the edge, only to discover the architect of this pool was a sadist. There are no ladders, just smooth, slippery tiles designed specifically to keep things and idiots inside. Day tries to climb out, but it's like a cat trying to scale a buttered glass window. He gets the brilliant idea to use the air mattress as a step stool. Newsflash, Day, air compressors. It's like trying to jump off a marshmallow. When that fails, he spots his phone sitting on the edge of the pool, mocking him with its 5G connectivity. Instead of, waiting for the water to rise, it isn't, or building a staircase out of his own hubris, Day decides to go full MacGyver. He takes the belt from his bathrobe, because he wears a bathrobe to an abandoned pool, obviously, ties it to his glasses, and tries to fish for the phone. It's a pathetic sight. He's basically fly fishing for his own survival with a piece of terry cloth and some prescription lenses. Naturally, he fails approximately 1,000 times. Just when he's about to give up and accept his new life as a well-dweller, the phone vibrates. Koi is calling him. The vibration acts like a tiny motor, inching the phone toward the abyss. Day is staring at it like it's the Holy Grail, and Lucky is up top doing his best cheerleader impression. But Lucky, being a dog and therefore prone to physical comedy, slips and starts sliding toward the edge. Now Day has a moral dilemma. Does he grab the phone that can call an ambulance, or does he save the dog? He chooses the dog. He uses the air mattress to boost Lucky back up to safety, which is noble, sure, but as he turns back, he watches his phone execute a perfect swan dive into the concrete. Day is filled with regret, which is a feeling he should probably get used to at this point. He's sitting there contemplating his life choices when he hears a buzzing. A miracle. The phone landed on a tiny ledge. Why? Because it was still plugged into its charging cable. Someone left a 25-foot extension cord lying around this abandoned death trap. Day swims over, but the water level has dropped so much that he's now officially too short for this ride. He watches the phone teetering on the edge. In a final desperate act of athleticism, he leaps into the air like a salmon. He misses. The phone hits the water, dies instantly, and with it, his last shred of dignity. To prevent the pool from becoming a literal dry grave, Day dives to the bottom and stuffs his bathrobe into the drain. It's a temporary fix, but then disaster strikes again. His shorts get caught in the drain cover. He is now tethered to the bottom of the pool by his own laundry, At this exact moment, the universe decides to twist the knife. His pizza arrives. The delivery guy is standing right there, probably wondering why the tip is taking so long. Day can see him. He can hear the guy's motorcycle. He's underwater, struggling with a zipper, while a pepperoni pizza sits 6 feet away. He finally rips his shorts, bursts to the surface, and screams for help, only for the delivery guy to rev his engine and drive away, blissfully unaware that he just abandoned a man to a watery, or lack of watery grave. Day is officially out of luck. He climbs back onto the mattress, exhausted and defeated, waiting for a rescue that isn't coming. Time passes. The sun goes down. Koi eventually wakes up, but the surprise she wanted to give Day has officially evolved into a nightmare. As if being trapped in a hole wasn't enough, Lucky starts barking at the entrance. Day looks up, hoping for a lifeguard, but instead he finds a crocodile. Because of course there's a crocodile. An abandoned pool in the middle of nowhere? That's prime real estate for a prehistoric killing machine. So we've reached the part of our program where it can't possibly get worse meets hold my beer. Day is trapped in a concrete pit with his unconscious, bleeding girlfriend and a literal prehistoric apex predator. The crocodile, apparently tired of the view from the top, loses its footing and flops into the pool. Now the pool is dry, the vibes are rancid, and Day is playing a high-stakes game of Where's Waldo with a reptile that can bite through bone. He drags Koi's mattress around like he's rearranging furniture in a studio apartment from hell, desperately watching for any sign of a tail. Day eventually finds a temporary safe haven on a random couch. Don't ask why there's a couch in an abandoned swimming pool. Just accept that this set designer was going through something. Luckily for our heroes, the crocodile isn't hungry yet. It's likely just confused as to why it's sharing a hole with two of the most incompetent humans on the planet. By the next morning, the water is completely gone, leaving them in a giant sun-baked bowl of despair. Day notices that Koi's bandage is soaked through with blood, and he needs fresh tape. Where is the tape, you ask? Oh, naturally, it's inside the crocodile's mouth. I'm not joking. The crocodile is napping with a roll of duct tape between its teeth, like it's a golden retriever with a tennis ball. Instead of looking for any other solution, literally any other solution, Day decides to play Operation with a man-eater. He creeps toward the sleeping beast, sweating buckets, while Lucky the dog stands at the top of the pool barking like a malfunctioning car alarm. Quiet, Lucky, Day hisses, as if the dog is the main threat to his stealth mission. He reaches out, his fingers inches away from the jaws of death, and the crocodile wakes up. Day manages to snatch the tape and retreat with all 10 fingers, which is honestly the biggest win he's had in this entire movie. He re-bandages Koi, and they settle in for their second night of luxury living. With no phone and no hope, Day finally notices the drain. He thinks, hey, maybe I can crawl through the literal bowels of the earth to escape. He heads over to the drain cover, only to find it's bolted down. He spends hours trying to unscrew it with his bare hands, which works about as well as you'd expect. He eventually realizes that Koi's necklace could serve as a makeshift screwdriver. But there's a snag. The crocodile has decided that the drain cover is its new favorite bed. Day tries to distract the beast by throwing wads of tape at it. Yes, his plan to move a 500-pound predator is to annoy it with stationery. Miraculously, the crocodile finds Day so pathetic that it just leaves. Day unscrews the bolts, pries open the cover, and reveals a dark, damp tunnel. It's a choose-your-own-adventure moment, and since waiting here to turn into jerky isn't a great option, Day decides to scout the tunnel alone. But wait! While Day is busy being an explorer, the crocodile secretly sneaks into the tunnel behind him. It's like a slapstick horror movie at this point. Day wanders around in the dark for a while and, surprise, surprise, actually finds an exit. The catch? It's locked from the outside. While Day is busy rattling a grate and screaming at the sky, he looks in a conveniently placed mirror and sees the crocodile back in the pool, closing in on his defenseless, unconscious girlfriend. Day sprints back through the pipes, arriving just as the crocodile is trying to figure out how to unwrap its mattress-dwelling burrito. Day knocks the beast away and fends it off with a stick, because apparently this crocodile can be defeated by the same tactics used on a stray cat. The crocodile retreats and Day collapses from sheer exhaustion. By nightfall, Koi finally wakes up. She's thirsty, she's hungry, and she's probably wondering why her boyfriend chose Death Pit for their weekend getaway. They notice the crocodile has been sitting in the same spot for 24 hours. Is it dead? Is it bored? No, it's a mother. It just laid a nest of eggs. Day, sensing an opportunity for a high-protein breakfast, decides he's done being the prey. He faints from a dizzy spell. The crocodile creeps toward him for a snack. And bam! It's a trap. Day grapples with the beast, shoves it into the sewer tunnel, and slams the cover shut. He and Koi then drag the aforementioned pool couch over the lid. They are now the proud owners of a nest of crocodile eggs. They use Day's glasses to focus the sunlight and start a fire with some sticks, because we've fully transitioned into an episode of Survivor. They sit there, in a concrete hole, eating the unborn children of the monster they just locked in the basement. It's dark, it's judgmental, and it's honestly the most productive thing they've done since the movie started. Having feasted on the omelette of their enemies, Day and Koi are feeling surprisingly optimistic. They decide to use their newfound egg energy to stack the couch and build a human ladder. Now, basic geometry tells us that a couch plus 2 humans does not equal a 25-foot vertical climb, but Day has never let math get in the way of a bad idea. To the shock of absolutely no one, they can't reach the top. Defeated by the laws of physics once again, they decide their only option is to head into the sewer, the same sewer where they just trapped a very angry, very bereaved mother crocodile. As soon as they crack the lid, the crocodile charges out like it's been waiting for this exact moment to file a formal complaint. Day barely slides into the tunnel in time, avoiding a literal butt-clenching disaster as the jaws snap shut inches from his heels. They are safe in the dark, damp pipes, while the crocodile roars above them, presumably mourning its breakfast. Suddenly, Lucky, the only character with any situational awareness, starts barking his head off. He's spotted a drone. This is it. A high-tech rescue. Day scrambles back through the pipes, pushes open a manhole cover, and prepares to be saved by the marvels of modern science. He looks up and discovers it's a toy drone. No camera, no GPS. Just a plastic hobbyist's toy being flown by someone who clearly doesn't hear the frantic screaming coming from the earth. To make matters worse, the crocodile is just sitting there, staring at Day with a look that says, "Really? That's your plan? A toy?" But wait. A literal act of God occurs. A strong gust of wind blows a nearby wire down into the pool. It's like Rapunzel's hair. Day sees a glimmer of hope and starts climbing. Of course, because this pool was designed by a committee of villains. The wire is covered in sharp points. Day's hands are shredded, he's bleeding everywhere, and the wire is wobbling like a tooth in a toddler's mouth. He's inches from the top, literally inches from freedom, when the wire gives way. Day falls 20 feet and hits the concrete with a thud that probably reset his skeleton. He passes out from the pain, and when he wakes up, things have gone from bad to "is this a prank?" He looks down to find the crocodile is currently using his injured leg as a chew toy. In a moment of pure adrenaline-fueled rage, Day grabs a nearby bucket. Where did the bucket come from? Don't ask, and starts tenderizing the crocodile's head until it decides he's too spicy to eat and retreats. Desperate and leaking more fluids than a crashed car, Day crawls back into the sewer and heads the opposite direction. He finds another manhole cover, pushes with his last ounce of strength, and emerges into another swimming pool. Yes, he successfully escaped one concrete hole only to teleport into a different one. At this point, the universe isn't just trying to kill him, it's mocking him. The next day, the toy drone returns. 2 men actually climb down a ladder to get it. They are literally feet away from our protagonists. They don't see the blood, they don't see the couch monster, and they don't hear Day's raspy, pathetic attempts at shouting. They grab their toy and leave. But in a final twist of sheer, unadulterated luck, they forget their ladder. Day sees the ladder. It's the promised land. But the crocodile is back, and it's done playing games. Meanwhile, it starts raining, and the sewer where Koi is trapped is filling up fast. If Day doesn't move now, Koi is going to become the world's first drowned in a pool during a drought statistic. Day wraps the sharp wire around his hands, turns into a low-budget action hero and fights the beast. He punches it, he climbs on its back, and finally, he jams a steel pipe into its mouth, effectively shutting it up for good. He runs for the ladder, but get this, a falling barrel knocks the ladder upward, out of reach. Day breaks down. He's done. He's ready to just become part of the pool's architecture. But then he hears Koi's whistle. Lucky, trying to be a good boy, runs toward the sound, but his leash is caught. He's being choked by the very thing meant to keep him safe. Driven by the need to save his girlfriend, Day finds a final reservoir of strength. He grabs the dog leash, uses it to scale the wall like a very sweaty Spider-Man, and finally makes it back to the sewer. He pries open the lid with his steel pipe and pulls Koi out just as the water reaches her nose. The two of them hug, covered in blood, crocodile slime, and sewer water, while Lucky watches on. They're finally free. And all it took was several days of torture, a dead reptile, and the complete destruction of their dignity. And that concludes the recap. From head-butting diving boards to eating crocodile eggs, Day and Koi truly lived the dream. And that wraps up another chaotic journey into the world of storytelling. If you enjoyed watching these characters make questionable life choices as much as I enjoyed talking about them, you're in the right place. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button to join the Chronicler Recap family. Why? Because life is already serious enough. You deserve a place where you can get the full story without the boring bits and with a healthy dose of humor instead. We're constantly dropping new recaps that keep the laughs coming and the plot moving, so don't miss out on the next one. But for now, whether the sun is just coming up or you're winding down for the evening, enjoy the rest of your day or night. Stay awesome, and I'll catch you in the next recap.